Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Everyone loves wrestling, except that's not true. It would be very, very different world we live in if football and pro wrestling traded places in the popularity contest. Well, not everyone loves wrestling, and some people aren't gonna do it for the WWE anymore. Wow, this is a bad intro. Let's just on with the video, how about? I'm D-Wick, and here's 10 wrestlers who, for one reason or another, are never gonna wrestle for Vince McMahon again. Number 10, CM Punk.
Maybe I'll go defend it in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe I'll go back to Ring of Honor. Hey, Colt Cabana, how you doing?
I mean, yeah. Number 9, Enzo Amore. What an interesting little nugget that whole Enzo Amore nonsense was, both on and off screen. Let's take a look into the past. Remember when rumors started coming out about Enzo getting thrown off buses, sneaking people backstage, and in general just acting like a complete douchebag? Then, remember how he suddenly transferred to 205 Live to generate some hype for the purple brand while simultaneously fixing WWE's problem, as Neville so kindly put it. Nobody else wanted you, so they left you on our doorstep, but smarter than that. Probably. Then shit hit the fan, man. Shit hit the fan.
A low blow. The referee didn't see it. The shoulders are down. Enzo Amore.
He wins the Cruiserweight title off of Neville. Neville leaves the company. Enzo calls him out in real life. All that shit on Enzo catches up to him, and he's fired while still being the champion. Then he becomes a rapper. He shows up to one of the pay-per-views in the front row, and he pops the crowd by getting thrown out during an AOP match. The same one where Drake Maverick pissed himself. Please do not ever forget that. And finally comes full circle with his big buddy Cassidy, and they show up together in Ring of Honor, which is, I've heard, a shit show. Sorry, a shit show. But a shit show would be Enzo Amore's entire everything I just read. What is happening? Number 8, Lita. Here's a 180 for you, from WWE's least favorite fuck up to one of their most beloved females of yesteryear. While Lita is actively involved with WWE, producing and always around to help out if necessary or just cheer on her longtime buddies Jeff and Matt, she's probably not going to be hopping inside of that ring anytime soon. She'll still do stuff, I'm sure, show up on TV every now and then when the occasion calls for it, and then maybe even hit that beautiful moonsault a few more times. But after teaming up with Trish Stratus at WWE Evolution, and wow, what a PR cash grab-esque name that pay-per-view had.
Lita up top with a Lita salt. Stratus with a kick. Lita Trish win.
She's seeming to hint against her next in-ring return. While Trish seems like she's still ready to put the dupes back up, Lita likely won't be caught lacing up those boots anytime soon.
He hadn't had any luck whatsoever with the Raw Legends. But I'm sure we got some more here tonight. What?
Number 7, the Young Bucks. Okay, obviously they won't wrestle for WWE, but hey, the word again is in the title, so who cares if it's the real point of this list or not. I just love the fact that these dudes were in WWE before becoming famous, and it's like the craziest run anyone's ever had in this company. In 2008, Matt Jackson lost to Chuck Palumbo.
I don't know what Chuck is trying to prove here by not ending this match. Oh, there's the full throttle.
Then he lost to The Big Show 8 months later in an exhibition last man standing match.
Oh my God! Right through the table!
Before the brothers came together to dress up as and mock DX before being laid out by The Miz and John Morrison.
Well, I got 2 words for ya. No, I got 5.
Oh.
And then a decade later, they're turning down $1 million deals with WWE because, well, you know, AEW. And hey, speaking of, number 5 and 6 kind of in one, Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho. It'd be silly to pack this list up with a bunch of just AEW names, so let's put them together into some proper pairs. I guess the brothers were first, so now let's talk about some dudes who had a clear message in mind for WWE and weren't going to let them stand in the way of their greatness. In this specific case of a couple visionaries like Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho, Vince, or more so the WWE machine itself, was systematically crushing the creative juices from inside both of their souls, and after a certain point, they just had to change the world, or in Jericho's case, the entire universe, I guess. These guys have both left their word out there on WWE and almost definitely burnt every bridge that'd take them back.
If I would have said, oh, I'm so sorry, like, no, I'm not sorry. Yeah, I went over and me and John tore the damn house down for the biggest money gate in the biggest arena in the world.
Number 4, 5, I don't know. There's 4 names between these last 2 entries and a spot missing. You do that math yourself. There's at least one person watching this video who doesn't know either or of those names, Jon Moxley and Pac. And to that confused fella right there, I'm sorry that this YouTube channel's name has betrayed you. Because the men known as Dean Ambrose and sometimes Adrian Neville, they're dead. All we've got left is a Moxley and a Pac, 2 dudes who, for very similar reasons, will also not be wrestling for the WWE again. See, while Cody and Chris made some things clear, Moxley metaphorically stapled his resignation paper to the goddamn door and kind of opened the door for this whole AEW WWE contract nonsense that's been happening over the last month or so. Moxley didn't want to change the world, he just wanted to change himself and the people in charge of him. And in every single way he succeeded. Mox went ahead and proved what Punk tried proving back in 2011, that WWE is not the be-all end-all, and while Pac's leaving wasn't anywhere near as big as either of those 2 names, it's in the exact same vein, and considering he left WWE to become, and I'm serious when I say, probably the best pro wrestler on the planet today, Hammer Daniel Bryan, I think you've rubbed it in their face enough to call it a victory. Number 3, John Morrison. All right, no more AEW. Instead, let's talk about Impact. He's still there, right? I don't keep up with Impact. I honestly don't know. Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, Johnny Elite? Maybe. Sounds kind of good. Well, here's one thing for sure. I don't see John Morrison or Johnny WWE, Johnny Wrestling. That one's already taken. I don't see John Morrison in any capacity being the name that pops up anytime soon. I think he's always come across as a very smart and savvy guy, so I'm about 95% sure calling this one on my own. But I think an innovative and technically gifted guy like him should see his status in other companies, then look at his status when he was in WWE, then look at the rest of the roster they've already got now that are already in bad spots. He should know his worth, he should see the potential everywhere outside of WWE, and realize that he's going to have a lot better a time pretty much everywhere outside of WWE.
Well, there's John Morrison. Whoa!
Number 2, Goldberg. On one hand, Goldberg is an absolute legend of the pro wrestling business, and he deserves a lot of respect for not only his in-ring contributions, but also his attitude, which surprisingly was never that big of a deal throughout his career, or at least to the extent you might assume from looking at a dude who looks like Bill Goldberg. But on the other hand, I believe people should be judged primarily for their actions, and he is the one who signed his name to the dotted line on a Saudi Arabian contract, so criticism's fair game. Never do this again. Goldberg, like seriously, do not ever wrestle again. WWE higher-ups should have seen that match and immediately been like, oh shit, yeah, okay, he's never wrestling again. Okay, don't do it, Goldberg. Don't do it. Stop wrestling. Stop it. Forever. Fucking Goldberg. And number 1, Shawn Michaels. A lot of repetition of most of what I just said before about Goldberg, except this is about the dude commonly referred to as the greatest in-ring performer of all time, so it's a little different. Pretty unfortunate that Crown Jewel happened, not just the start of this whole Saudi blood money deal, but the fact that HBK's legacy will forever be somewhat tarnished by his picture-perfect in-ring finale at WrestleMania 26 just being an 8-year precursor to one of the worst matches of all time, involving 2 of the greatest of all time. Yeah, Michaels is clearly bummed about it himself, so don't expect him fulfilling any of those AJ Styles or Seth Rollins dream matches we all wanted.
Heading up to the top rope, Undertaker walking the tightrope, Old Skull to the Heartbreak Kid.
And those are the 10 wrestlers who, for one reason or another, are never going to wrestle for Vince McMahon again. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below after liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications and that bell.